A woman who knows her worth never begs for love, never chases approval, and never settles for less. She moves with grace, speaks with wisdom, and rules her world with silence. Are you that woman? Most women today are confused. Society tells them to be soft, to be kind, to be accommodating. But let me tell you, smart women do not live by the rules of others. They create their own. A woman who follows these 7 rules will not only be respected but will become unstoppable. Let's dive into the powerful truth that will change how you see yourself forever. Power is in silence, not in over-explaining. This is where most people, especially women, lose their power. They feel the need to justify every move, explain every decision, and defend every choice. But let me ask you, when was the last time a lion explained why it roars? When was the last time the sun justified why it shines? They don't. Because true power does not beg for recognition, it simply exists. A woman who constantly explains herself to the world is handing over her power to others. She is saying, please understand me, please approve of me, please don't misunderstand me. But here's the hard truth. People will misunderstand you no matter what you say. People will twist your words, judge your actions, and form opinions regardless of how well you explain yourself. So why waste your energy? Think of a situation where you said no to something. Maybe a friend wanted you to do a favor you weren't comfortable with. Maybe a colleague wanted you to cover for them. Maybe a man in your life disrespected you and you chose to walk away. What happens when you explain too much? They push back, they argue, they try to convince you otherwise. But when you simply say, no, I'm not available, and leave it at that, suddenly the conversation is over. The moment you stop explaining, you stop giving people power over your decisions. A powerful woman understands that silence is more commanding than words. Picture this. You're at a meeting, and a group of people are debating an issue. Some are talking over each other, trying to prove their point, but there's one person in the room who is completely silent, watching, observing, analyzing. And when she finally speaks, everyone stops to listen. Why? Because she wasn't trying to be heard. She was waiting for the right moment to speak with impact. This is the difference between noise and influence. Smart women don't talk just to be heard, they talk to be remembered. And let's talk about relationships. How many times have women fallen into the trap of over-explaining to a man? Trying to make him understand why you're upset, why you need respect, why you want commitment. A man who truly values you doesn't need paragraphs of explanation. He understands through your actions, through your boundaries, through your silence. If you constantly have to explain why you deserve better, you're talking to the wrong person. Take this scenario. A woman finds out her partner is not giving her the respect she deserves. She sits him down, explains everything, tells him how she feels, why she's hurt, what she expects. He nods. He even apologizes. But nothing changes. Why? Because words are cheap. Now imagine another woman in the same situation, but instead of explaining, she simply withdraws. No angry messages, no long lectures. No desperate conversations, just distance, silence, focus on herself. And suddenly, that man realizes he's losing something valuable. Why? Because silence makes people uncomfortable. It forces them to think, it forces them to question. That's why the most powerful statement you can ever make is no statement at all. Have you ever noticed that the most respected women in the world are the ones who don't engage in unnecessary arguments? They don't respond to every insult. They don't explain why they walked away. They don't waste time trying to prove their worth to people who don't see it. They just move forward. And that movement is what makes the world pay attention. Let me give you another example. Imagine you're working on your dreams, building something great, and suddenly people start questioning you. Why are you doing this? Do you really think this will work? Are you sure this is a good idea? Most people in that moment start explaining. They start defending their dreams, trying to get others to see their vision. But the smartest people, they just smile and keep working. Because when you're focused on building your empire, you don't have time to explain your blueprint to everyone. If someone doesn't believe in you, let them watch in silence. The reason silence is powerful is because it creates mystery. And mystery creates respect. People respect what they cannot easily figure out. They respect what they don't fully understand. That's why a woman who speaks less but acts more will always be more powerful than a woman who spends her energy trying to convince the world. Look at the strongest women in history. They didn't waste time explaining why they were worthy. They simply showed the world through their actions. And this applies to every area of life. In friendships, don't explain why you set boundaries, just set them. In relationships, don't explain why you deserve better, just accept nothing less. In career, don't explain why you deserve better, just accept nothing less. In career, don't explain why you deserve a raise, just work in a way that makes them realize your value. The moment you stop over-explaining, you reclaim your power. The moment you stop trying to prove yourself, you become undeniable. A queen never begs for love, she attracts it. A woman who understands her worth does not chase, plead, or wait for someone to recognize her value. She knows that real love flows toward her naturally, like rivers flowing to the ocean. But the moment she starts begging, she lowers herself to a place where she doesn't belong. Love is not a transaction where you convince someone to stay. It is a space where two souls recognize each other without force. Look around. How many women do you see chasing a man's attention? Sending paragraph after paragraph, explaining, justifying, proving their love. And what happens? The more they chase, the faster he runs. Because love, when begged for, loses its magic. The more you plead, the more unattractive it becomes. A flower does not beg a bee to come. It simply blooms and the right bee finds its way. Picture this. There's a woman who constantly adjusts herself for a man. She dims her light, she silences her opinions, she accepts disrespect just to keep him. She believes that if she's just a little more patient, a little more understanding, he will change. And yet, the more she gives, the less he values her, because what comes too easy is never respected. Now, imagine another woman. She loves fiercely, but the moment she feels unappreciated, she walks away with grace. She does not cry for attention, she does not beg for loyalty, she simply removes herself. And suddenly, the same man who ignored her starts chasing her. Why? Because absence speaks louder than words. A smart woman never fights for a place in someone's life. She does not waste her time trying to convince a man that she is worthy. She does not ask, do you love me? Do you still want me? Am I enough? Because she already knows she is enough. And if a man cannot see that, she will not lower herself. She will rise higher. Look at the strongest women in history. Did they pause their lives waiting for love? Did they shrink themselves to fit into a man's world? No, they built themselves first. And when love came, it was a love that matched their strength. Because here's the truth, when a woman knows her worth, she attracts a man who knows it too. Let's talk about self-respect. A woman who begs for love is handing over her self-respect like it means nothing. And let me tell you something, no one can respect you more than you respect yourself. If you allow someone to treat you like an option, don't be surprised when they don't make you a priority. If you keep proving your worth, don't be shocked when they take you for granted. Have you ever seen a queen run after a man? No. She sits on her throne, knowing that only the worthy will stand beside her. Because true queens never beg, they attract. Their energy, their confidence, their self-worth pulls the right person in without effort. Think of a woman who spends her nights crying over a man who doesn't call, a man who doesn't make an effort, a man who treats her like she is replaceable. What would happen if she simply stopped? Stopped texting, stopped waiting, stopped begging? That silence would say more than 1,000 words ever could. Because the moment a woman stops chasing, she shifts the power back to herself. There's an old saying, the sun does not chase the planets revolve around it. A woman who understands her power does not revolve around a man. She shines so brightly that the right man gravitates toward her, and the wrong ones, they're unable to handle her light. Women must understand this. Love should never make you feel small. It should never make you doubt yourself. If you have to beg for someone's time, for their respect, for their commitment, then it is not love. It is a game, and you are losing. Love that is meant for you will never need convincing. It will flow effortlessly, without struggle. Look at your own life. Look at the moments where you gave too much, where you waited too long, where you lowered your standards just to keep someone, and ask yourself, did it ever make them love you more, or did it only make them take you for granted? A powerful woman understands this. Her time, her energy, and her love are gifts, not something to be begged for. And the man who deserves her will know it. She does not need to ask, "Do you love me?" because his actions will already have answered. A woman's greatest mistake is thinking that being available 24/7 will make her more loved, more valued, or more irreplaceable. But the truth is, people do not respect what they can easily access. What is always there, always ready, always saying yes without hesitation loses its value over time. A smart woman understands this. She does not make herself available for just anyone, at any time. She guards her presence like a rare diamond because she knows that exclusivity is what makes something truly precious. Look at the most luxurious things in life, the most expensive brands, the most admired leaders, the most sought-after personalities. Are they available to just anyone? No. They are selective, they are rare. They are not found everywhere, and that is precisely what makes people desire them more. A woman who is always available is like a shop that never closes. People walk in and out taking what they want without ever appreciating the worth of what's inside. But the moment that shop sets a boundary, the moment it becomes exclusive, suddenly people start valuing it. Think about this. Have you ever noticed that when you are always there for someone, they start taking you for granted? You answer every call, reply to every message instantly, drop everything when they need you, and yet they start treating you as if your presence is nothing special. But the moment you become busy, the moment you prioritize yourself, the moment you stop being at their beck and call, suddenly they start noticing your absence. This is not a coincidence. This is human psychology. People appreciate what is limited. A woman who gives too much of her time to everyone is like an open book that anyone can read. But a woman who values her time, who knows that not everyone deserves her energy, she becomes a mystery, a treasure, something that others chase instead of something they take for granted. She understands that being always available does not make her more loved. It makes her less respected. Let's talk about relationships. A woman who is always available for a man, who adjusts her entire life around him, who makes him the center of her universe, what happens? He starts feeling like she has nothing else going on. He starts losing interest. Because when a woman has nothing of her own, no goals, no ambitions, no sense of self, she becomes predictable, and predictability kills attraction. But when a woman has a life of her own, when she is busy building her dreams, when she is selective with her time, suddenly she becomes desirable. Suddenly her time becomes a privilege, not an expectation. Imagine a woman who is deeply invested in her own life. She has passions, goals, hobbies. She is not waiting for a man to text her, not waiting for a friend to validate her, not waiting for anyone to give her purpose. When someone asks for her time, she does not drop everything. She decides whether they are worth her time. And because of that, people respect her more. They value her more. They crave her presence because they know it is not something that can be taken for granted. Look at the most powerful women in the world. They do not live their lives sitting by the phone, waiting for someone to need them. They are out there making things happen. And that is exactly why people admire them. Because their time is precious, their attention is rare, their presence is not something that is given freely, it is earned. A smart woman does not make herself too available, not because she is playing games, but because she understands her own worth. She knows that her time is the most valuable currency she has, and she spends it wisely. If someone cannot respect that, they do not deserve a place in her life. The moment a woman stops making herself too available, she shifts the power. She stops chasing and starts attracting. She stops begging and starts choosing. She stops being an option and becomes a priority. Because a queen does not run after attention, she commands it. And the moment she understands that, the world starts seeing her differently. A smart woman knows one thing for sure. Her energy is sacred. It is not to be wasted on those who drain her, on situations that bring her down, or on people who do not deserve it. She understands that where her energy goes, her life flows. If she constantly pours herself into negativity, she will find herself trapped in a cycle of exhaustion. But if she guards her energy, if she chooses wisely where she invests her emotions, she becomes unstoppable. Look around you. How many people are stuck in toxic relationships, surrounded by people who do nothing but complain, gossip, and drain them emotionally? How many people keep entertaining friends who bring drama, partners who bring insecurity, and family members who bring constant negativity? And yet they wonder why they feel so tired, so lost, so emotionally exhausted. It is simple, because energy is like money. If you keep spending it on the wrong things, you will always feel bankrupt. A woman who values her energy is like a fortress, strong, protected, impenetrable. She does not allow just anyone to enter her space. She does not entertain pointless arguments. She does not waste time proving herself to people who will never understand her worth. She does not chase love because she knows that real love will never make her feel drained. She does not engage in unnecessary fights because she knows that peace is more powerful than winning an argument. She does not give her time to people who only take but never give back, because she understands that energy must be reciprocated. Think about this. Have you ever met someone who, after spending time with them, leaves you feeling empty? They did nothing but complain, criticize, and dump their problems onto you. And by the time they leave, they feel lighter, but you feel heavier. Why? Because they just transferred all their negativity onto you. Now imagine how much of your life force you lose when you allow such people to stay in your life daily. A smart woman recognizes these energy thieves, and she does not let them in. She protects her energy by choosing her circle carefully. Not everyone deserves access to her. Not everyone gets to sit at her table. She surrounds herself with those who uplift her, who inspire her, who bring her peace, not chaos, because she knows that the people she keeps around her shape her energy, her thoughts, and ultimately her life. Look at the strongest women in history. Were they surrounded by gossipers, by negative people, by those who doubted them? No. They built walls around their energy. They did not waste their strength on meaningless distractions. They knew that their focus was their power, and they guarded it fiercely. A woman who guards her energy does not let every little thing trigger her. She does not allow negativity to invade her mind. She does not waste time responding to every insult, every drama, every situation that is beneath her. Because she understands one thing: where attention goes, energy flows. If she focuses on negativity, she will attract more of it. But if she focuses on growth, on peace, on progress, she will elevate her life to a level where negativity cannot reach her. Have you ever seen a lion stop to bark back at a dog? No. The lion knows that it has bigger things to focus on. A smart woman moves the same way. She does not let small minds disturb her big vision. She does not lower herself to the level of those who thrive on drama. She does not waste words on people who are committed to misunderstanding her, because she knows that her energy is too valuable to be wasted on the unworthy. Think of a woman who is constantly arguing, constantly explaining, constantly trying to prove her worth to those who do not see it. She spends her entire life exhausted, chasing validation that never comes. But a woman who guards her energy, she walks away. She lets her success speak for her. She lets her peace disturb those who cannot stand to see her unbothered. And in doing so, she wins every battle without ever needing to fight. A powerful woman does not allow herself to be drained by things that do not serve her. She does not respond to disrespect with more energy. She responds with silence. She does not explain herself to those who are not willing to listen. She does not lower herself for the sake of keeping people comfortable. She stands firm, she protects her energy, and she moves forward without looking back. Because at the end of the day, a woman's energy is her greatest currency. And a smart woman spends it wisely. A smart woman knows that self-respect is not a luxury, it is a necessity. It is the foundation on which her entire life stands. Without it, she is like a house built on sand, easily shaken, easily broken. But with it, she becomes unshakable, unstoppable, and untouchable. She does not beg for love, she does not tolerate disrespect, she does not shrink herself to fit into places that were never meant for her. She stands tall, knowing that the world will treat her the way she allows it to. Look around. How many women lower their standards just to keep a relationship? How many tolerate disrespect because they are afraid to be alone? How many accept less than they deserve because they think that is all they can get? And yet they wonder why they feel miserable, why they feel unseen, why they feel like they are drowning in their own life. The answer is simple. They put others above themselves. They forgot that the first person they need to respect is themselves. A woman with self-respect does not chase, she attracts. She does not beg for attention, for love, for validation, because she knows one thing for sure. Anything she has to beg for is not worth having. She does not need to remind people of her worth. If they cannot see it, that is their loss, not hers. She does not sit in places where she is not valued, because she understands that her presence is a privilege, not a convenience. Think of a queen. She does not step down from her throne to convince anyone of her power. She does not beg for a seat at someone else's table. She does not cry for those who do not appreciate her. She stands tall, knowing that she brings value wherever she goes. A smart woman moves the same way. She knows that anyone who does not respect her presence deserves to feel her absence. In relationships, a woman with self-respect does not tolerate inconsistency. She does not entertain half-hearted efforts. She does not allow herself to be treated like an option. She knows that real love does not make her feel anxious, insecure, or unwanted. It makes her feel safe, valued, and cherished. If a man cannot give her that, she walks away, because she would rather be alone than be with someone who makes her feel lonely. Have you ever seen a woman who knows her worth? She moves differently. She does not try to please everyone. She does not settle for less. She does not explain her standards to those who refuse to meet them. She does not cry over people who left because she knows that anyone who walks away is making space for someone better. She does not accept crumbs of love because she knows she deserves the whole cake. A smart woman does not let guilt manipulate her into staying where she does not belong. She does not let loneliness make her choose the wrong company. She does not let fear of judgment keep her from standing up for herself. She does not allow anyone to treat her like she is disposable. She knows that the moment she allows disrespect, she is teaching others how to treat her. And so she sets her standards high, not because she is arrogant, but because she refuses to be undervalued. Think about a woman who constantly accepts mistreatment. What happens? People start thinking they can get away with anything. They start pushing her limits, seeing how much she will tolerate. And the more she accepts, the worse it gets. But the moment she puts her foot down, the moment she says enough, everything changes. Suddenly people realize they cannot play with her. Suddenly they start respecting her. A woman who respects herself does not wait for others to give her worth. She gives it to herself. She does not seek approval from people who do not matter. She does not bend over backward to make people like her. She knows that true power is in walking away from anything that does not align with her values. She understands that losing someone who does not respect her is not a loss, it is a gain. Have you ever seen a lion beg for respect? No, because it knows its power. A woman should be the same. She should never dim her light for those who are afraid of her shine. She should never lower her standards to accommodate people who do not deserve her. She should never accept less than she deserves just because she is afraid of being alone. Because the truth is, being alone is better than being with the wrong people. The moment a woman starts respecting herself, the world follows. She stops being an option and becomes a priority. She stops being taken for granted and starts being valued. She stops feeling powerless and starts owning her life. Because in the end, the way she treats herself sets the standard for how the world will treat her. A smart woman understands one of the most powerful truths in life. Her silence is her strength. In a world where people rush to react, where everyone is desperate to prove a point, where emotions run wild like an untamed fire, she chooses something different. She chooses to master the art of silence. She knows that words are powerful, but silence is even more powerful. She does not react to every insult thrown at her. She does not waste her energy explaining herself to those committed to misunderstanding her. She does not engage in meaningless battles. Instead, she lets her silence speak for her. Look around. How many people ruin their own peace because they cannot control their tongue? How many relationships are destroyed because of words spoken in anger? How many regrets are born from the inability to remain silent at the right time? A smart woman knows that not every battle is worth fighting. Some fights are won by simply walking away. Some wars are won by refusing to engage. She does not allow herself to be dragged into pointless drama. She does not waste her breath on those who thrive on chaos. She knows that silence is not weakness, it is wisdom. Have you ever noticed how the most powerful people do not speak the most? They do not rush to argue, they do not justify themselves, they do not beg to be understood. Instead, they observe, they listen, they wait. And when they do speak, their words shake the ground beneath them. A woman who understands the power of silence moves the same way. She does not react out of impulse, she responds with intention. She does not speak just to fill the silence, she speaks when it truly matters. And because of that, when she does speak, people listen. Think of the times you have wasted arguing with someone who never truly wanted to understand you. Did it change anything? Did it bring you peace? Or did it drain you, leaving you exhausted, frustrated, and unheard? A smart woman understands that some people do not listen to understand, they listen to reply. They are not interested in your truth, they are interested in proving you wrong. And for such people, silence is the best response, because nothing frustrates a fool more than being ignored. A lion does not respond to the barking of dogs, a queen does not argue with peasants. A woman who knows her worth does not waste her words on those who do not deserve them. She lets her success speak for itself. She lets her energy do the talking. She lets her actions make the noise. And in doing so, she maintains her dignity, her peace, and her power. Silence is a shield. It protects her from unnecessary drama, from meaningless conflicts, from situations that do not deserve her attention. It allows her to observe without reacting, to analyze without emotion, to respond only when it truly matters. She understands that not everything requires a response. Not every insult deserves an answer. Not every situation needs her involvement. Sometimes the best reaction is no reaction at all. Have you ever seen a woman who refuses to be disturbed by negativity? She is unshakable. People try to provoke her, but she does not react. They try to pull her into their chaos, but she remains calm. They try to get a reaction out of her, but she gives them nothing. And in doing so, she wins, because the moment you stop reacting, you take away their power. The moment you refuse to engage, you break the cycle. The moment you choose silence over chaos, you rise above it all. A smart woman does not argue with those who do not matter. She does not waste her energy proving her worth. She does not explain herself to those who are determined not to see her value. She simply continues to rise, to shine, to evolve. She lets her presence do the talking. She lets her silence make the loudest noise. Because when you truly know who you are, you do not need to convince anyone. Your silence is enough. There is immense power in knowing when to speak and when to stay silent. The woman who can master this art is unstoppable. She does not get lost in unnecessary battles. She does not allow others to dictate her emotions. She does not let external chaos disturb her inner peace. She moves with grace, with confidence, with control, and in doing so she commands respect without ever having to demand it. The loudest person in the room is not always the most powerful. The one who speaks the most is not always the most influential. True power lies in restraint. True strength lies in knowing when to speak and when to remain silent. A smart woman does not waste her breath on battles that do not matter. She saves her energy for things that truly deserve it. And because of that, she moves through life with a level of peace and power that cannot be shaken. A smart woman knows that not everyone deserves access to her. She understands that the energy she gives is precious, and the people she allows into her life must be chosen wisely. She does not entertain negativity. She does not open her doors to those who drain her spirit. She does not allow just anyone to sit at her table because she knows that her space, her time, and her presence are not for everyone. Look at the world around you. How many people suffer not because of their own mistakes, but because they gave their heart to the wrong people? How many have been betrayed, not by enemies, but by those they called friends? How many have lost their peace, their confidence, their purpose, just because they surrounded themselves with the wrong company? A smart woman does not make that mistake. She guards her circle the way a queen guards her kingdom. She understands that not everyone who smiles at her is her friend, and not everyone who claps for her wants to see her win. A queen does not let just anyone enter her palace. She does not allow just anyone to touch her crown. She does not lower herself to fit into places that were never meant for her. A smart woman moves the same way. She does not entertain gossip. She does not entertain toxicity. She does not entertain those who pretend to love her while secretly hoping for her downfall. She does not beg for friendship. She does not chase relationships. She does not seek validation from those who are blind to her worth. Have you ever noticed how a diamond is kept safe, locked away, valued, protected? Because it is rare. Because it is precious. Because not everyone is worthy of holding it. A smart woman knows she is that diamond. She does not make herself available to those who do not deserve her. She does not let people who have bad intentions sit in her life and poison her with their energy. She understands that the people she surrounds herself with will either lift her higher or pull her down. And so she chooses wisely. Think about it. If you keep letting negative, jealous, small-minded people into your life, what happens? You absorb their energy, you start doubting yourself, you start thinking small like them, you start losing your confidence, your peace, your direction. You start wasting time proving yourself to people who will never appreciate you. And before you know it, you have become a prisoner in your own life, trapped by the company you keep. But the moment you start choosing yourself, the moment you start saying, I do not need this kind of energy in my life, everything changes. A smart woman does not entertain drama. She does not waste her breath arguing with fools. She does not allow herself to be manipulated by people who do not have her best interests at heart. She walks away from anything and anyone that does not align with her peace, her growth, and her happiness. She understands that just because someone has been in her life for a long time does not mean they deserve a place in her future. She does not hold on to toxic relationships just because of history. She does not let guilt keep her in places that no longer serve her. Have you ever seen a woman who knows her worth? She does not beg to be included. She does not lower her standards to fit in. She does not accept behavior that disrespects her. She is selective with her energy. She understands that protecting her space is not selfish, it is necessary. Because in a world full of distractions, full of fake people, full of noise, the greatest gift you can give yourself is peace. And peace comes when you remove the wrong people from your life. She does not waste her time explaining herself to people who are committed to misunderstanding her. She does not try to fix people who do not want to change. She does not spend her nights crying over those who walked away. She understands that rejection is redirection. She understands that when people leave, they are making space for better. She understands that letting go is not losing, it is winning. Because every time she removes a toxic person from her life, she creates room for someone better. Have you ever noticed that eagles do not fly with pigeons? They do not waste their time with those who cannot reach their heights. They soar above, focused, untouchable, unstoppable. A smart woman is the same. She does not let people with small minds make her doubt her big dreams. She does not let people with weak spirits drain her strong energy. She does not let people who do not love themselves make her feel unworthy of love. She rises above. She moves with purpose. She protects her space, her energy, her peace. She understands that the right people will never make her feel like she is too much. The right people will never ask her to shrink, to dim her light, to lower her standards. The right people will never drain her. They will inspire her. They will challenge her, uplift her, celebrate her. And so, she chooses to surround herself with those who bring value into her life, not those who take from it. Because at the end of the day, the company she keeps is a reflection of who she is becoming. A smart woman knows the secret to real power. She invests in herself first. Before she gives to the world, before she pours into others, before she allows anyone to take from her energy, she makes sure her own cup is full. She understands that she cannot be everything for everyone if she is running on empty. She does not wait for someone to save her, to complete her, to make her feel worthy. She does that for herself, because she knows that the only person responsible for her growth, her happiness and her success is her. Look around. How many people spend their lives waiting for someone to believe in them, waiting for permission to go after their dreams, waiting for the perfect moment? But the truth is, no one is coming to hand you your destiny. No one is going to knock on your door and say, here, take this perfect life. You have to create it, you have to build it, you have to invest in yourself, in your mind, in your skills, in your future. Because no one else will do it for you. A tree does not grow by hoping for rain. It digs its roots deep and finds its own water. A queen does not wait for a throne. She builds her own empire. A smart woman understands this. She does not depend on luck. She does not rely on others to lift her up. She knows that her mind is her greatest asset. So she feeds it with knowledge. She learns, she grows, she evolves. She makes herself so valuable that no one can ignore her. Think about it. When was the last time you truly invested in yourself? Not just in terms of money, but in terms of time, effort, and energy? A smart woman does not waste hours scrolling through social media comparing herself to others. She does not waste her nights overthinking, doubting, and questioning her worth. She does not sit in the same place year after year waiting for life to change. She takes control, she learns new skills, she reads, she challenges herself, she pushes beyond her comfort zone. Because she knows that every moment she spends improving herself is a step closer to the life she deserves. Have you ever seen a woman who has worked on herself? She walks into a room and people feel her presence before she even speaks. She radiates confidence, intelligence, and power, not because she was born with it, but because she built it. She invested in herself when no one else did. She stayed up late studying, she worked hard when no one was watching. She chose to grow instead of staying stagnant. And now she moves with a different energy. She does not seek approval. She does not beg to be chosen. She does not chase opportunities. Opportunities chase her. A smart woman understands that no one can take away what she has built inside of her. Beauty fades, people leave, circumstances change, but knowledge, skills, self-respect, these stay. These are the weapons she carries with her through every stage of life. These are the things that will protect her, uplift her, and set her apart. She does not fear being alone because she is never truly alone. She has herself, and that is enough. Look at the most successful, confident women in the world. What do they have in common? They never stopped investing in themselves. They never settled for good enough. They never waited for someone to give them a better life. They created it. They trained their minds, they sharpened their skills, they mastered their emotions, and because of that they became unstoppable. A woman who invests in herself cannot be controlled. She does not need to stay in toxic relationships out of fear. She does not settle for less than she deserves. She does not shrink herself to make others comfortable. Because she knows her value, she has built herself into someone strong, independent and powerful. She has trained her mind to see beyond temporary struggles. She has built a future for herself that no one can take away. Have you ever met a woman who is truly secure in herself? She does not need constant reassurance. She does not feel threatened by others' success. She does not waste time in meaningless competition because she is too busy building, too focused on growing, too invested in her own journey. She understands that there is enough success, enough happiness, enough abundance for everyone. And because of that, she walks with grace, with confidence, with an energy that cannot be shaken. A smart woman does not waste her life being passive. She does not let the years slip by, watching others achieve their dreams while she remains stuck. She takes charge. She reads books that expand her mind. She learns skills that make her more powerful. She develops habits that bring her closer to her goals. She does not spend money on things that do not serve her future. She invests in things that make her better because she knows that the best investment she will ever make is in herself. A smart woman understands that emotions are powerful, but she does not let them control her. She feels everything deeply, but she knows when to step back and think. She does not react in anger, she does not break down in frustration, and she does not allow herself to be manipulated by the chaos of the world. She has mastered the art of emotional intelligence, and because of that, she is unshakable. Look around. How many people destroy their own peace because they cannot control their emotions? One bad conversation ruins their entire day. One rejection makes them feel worthless. One setback makes them question their entire journey. But a smart woman, she knows better. She understands that emotions are like the ocean. They come in waves. Sometimes they are calm, sometimes they are wild. But she learns to surf rather than drown. Imagine a woman who is always reacting, screaming when she is angry, crying when things don't go her way, doubting herself every time someone criticizes her. Do you think she is in control of her life? No. She is a slave to her emotions. But now, picture a woman who, no matter what happens, remains calm. A woman who, even when she is hurt, does not let it break her. A woman who, even when people try to provoke her, does not give them the reaction they seek. That is real strength, that is real power. A smart woman knows that when she controls her emotions, she controls her destiny. She does not allow temporary feelings to make permanent decisions. She does not burn bridges in moments of anger. She does not let sadness make her forget her worth. She does not let fear stop her from chasing her dreams. She sits with her emotions, understands them, and then makes choices that align with her higher self. Think of the most powerful women you admire. Are they the ones who lose control at every inconvenience? Or are they the ones who handle challenges with grace, who stand tall even in the face of adversity? True power is not in reacting. True power is in staying calm when the world expects you to break. A woman who has mastered her emotions cannot be manipulated. No one can guilt-trip her into doing things she does not want to do. No one can pressure her into making choices that do not serve her. No one can break her confidence with empty words. Because she does not operate from emotion alone, she operates from wisdom. When someone insults her, she does not waste her energy arguing. She smiles and walks away. When someone tries to make her jealous, she remains unbothered. because she knows her worth is not determined by anyone else. When life throws obstacles in her path, she does not sit and cry, she strategizes, she adjusts, she moves forward, because she understands that every emotion she feels is a choice. Have you ever seen a lion respond to the barking of dogs? No. The lion walks with confidence, knowing that it does not need to prove its strength to those beneath it. This is how a smart woman operates. She does not engage in pointless fights. She does not waste her words on those who do not deserve them. She does not let emotions cloud her vision. A smart woman knows that mastering emotions does not mean suppressing them. It means understanding them. It means knowing when to speak and when to stay silent. It means knowing when to walk away and when to stand firm. It means recognizing that not every battle is worth fighting, and that peace is often more powerful than conflict. Look at the women who are truly happy, truly successful. They are not the ones controlled by mood swings, by drama, by temporary feelings. They are the ones who remain steady, the ones who have trained themselves to think before they act, the ones who have built an inner world so strong that no external force can shake it. A smart woman does not give away her power by reacting to everything. She does not let negativity pull her down. She does not allow emotions to dictate her decisions. She understands that emotions are like visitors. They come and go. But she remains unshaken, unbreakable, unstoppable. A smart woman never settles, not for less love, not for small dreams, not for a life that does not set her soul on fire. She knows that she is not here to simply exist. She is here to thrive, to conquer, to create a life so powerful that it leaves a mark long after she is gone. She does not shrink to fit into spaces that were never meant for her. She does not compromise her standards just to be accepted. She does not silence her voice to make others comfortable. She is a force, and she moves through life with the mindset of a queen. Look at the world around you. How many people are living half-lives, stuck in the relationships that drain them, working jobs they hate, following routines that bring them no joy? And why? Because they have settled, they have accepted a life that is smaller than what they deserve. But a smart woman refuses. She refuses to let fear make her settle for less. She refuses to let society dictate what she should want. She refuses to lower her worth just to be liked. She knows that settling is not just about relationships or careers. It is about every choice she makes. It is about the energy she allows into her life. It is about the people she surrounds herself with. It is about the way she treats herself. She does not accept love that feels like a battle. She does not stay where she is not valued. She does not tolerate disrespect, manipulation, or mediocrity. She sets her standards high, and she stands by them, because she knows her worth. Imagine a woman who never settles. She does not rush into relationships just to avoid being alone. She does not stay in friendships that drain her. She does not work for a paycheck. She works for passion, for purpose, for something bigger than herself. She does not accept good enough when she knows she deserves greatness. And because of this, she attracts the best opportunities, the best relationships, the best version of herself. Settling is a slow death. It kills dreams, it kills passion, it kills the fire inside. A woman who settles for less today will wake up 10 years from now wondering where her life went. She will look in the mirror and see someone who gave up on herself. But a smart woman, she will look in the mirror and see a warrior, someone who never compromised on her vision, someone who stood firm in her worth, someone who chose to chase greatness instead of comfort. Do not be afraid to want more. Do not let the world convince you that you are asking for too much. You are not. You are asking for what is meant for you. And what is meant for you will never require you to shrink yourself. A smart woman understands that if something requires her to abandon her values, her dreams, her self-respect, it is not for her. She walks away, she lets go, she makes room for what truly belongs to her. A woman who never settles radiates confidence. She walks differently. She speaks with conviction. She does not beg, she does not chase, she does not compromise. Because she knows that the right things, the right people, the right opportunities will align with her when she stands in her power. Think about it. When have you felt the most alive, the most powerful, the most unstoppable? It was never in moments when you settled. It was in moments when you demanded more from life, when you stepped up instead of stepping back, when you took risks instead of playing small. That is where true growth happens. That is where a smart woman belongs. She does not settle for love that does not make her feel cherished. She does not settle for a career that does not challenge her. She does not settle for a life that feels ordinary. She dares to ask for more, to want more, to create more, and because of that she gets more. Because life rewards those who refuse to settle. Because the universe aligns with those who demand their worth. Because nothing extraordinary has ever come from accepting the bare minimum. A smart woman never settles. Because she knows that she was meant for more. You are not here to live an ordinary life. You are not here to just survive, to fit into the mold, to accept what is given. You are here to rise, to create, to dominate every space you enter. The moment you realize your power, the moment you stop waiting for permission, the moment you take full ownership of your existence, that is the moment everything changes. The world does not reward those who hesitate. It does not open doors for those who stand in the shadows, waiting to be invited in. The world bends for the bold, for the fearless, for the women who dare to say, I am enough, I am worthy, I will not settle for anything less than what I deserve. If you walk like you belong, the doors will open. If you carry yourself with confidence, people will listen. If you demand greatness, life will respond. A smart woman does not wait for things to happen, she makes them happen. She does not sit around hoping for change. She does not wait for someone to hand her an opportunity. She creates her own table, builds her own empire, becomes the leader she was born to be. Because she understands one thing, nobody is coming to save her. No one is going to fight for her dreams harder than she will. No one is going to hand her the life she wants. She must take it. Strength is not given. Confidence is not gifted. Success is not inherited. These things are built moment by moment, decision by decision. Every time you choose yourself, you become stronger. Every time you say no to what does not serve you, you become wiser. Every time you walk away from what dims your light, you become unstoppable. A woman who knows her worth, a woman who stands in her power, she is a force that cannot be ignored. Look at history. The women who changed the world were never the ones who played it safe. They were the rebels, the warriors, the visionaries who refused to accept the limits placed upon them. They were the ones who stood up when they were told to sit down. The ones who spoke up when they were told to stay silent. The ones who demanded more when the world tried to convince them to settle. And because of that, they left a mark that will never be erased. You are no different. You have that same fire inside of you. You have that same strength, that same power, that same ability to shape your own destiny. The only question is, will you use it? Will you rise to the challenge? Will you step into the life that was meant for you? Or will you let fear keep you small, keep you quiet, keep you in a world that does not recognize your true value? Greatness is not for the chosen few, it is for those who choose themselves. For those who decide that they will not let the opinions of others dictate their path, for those who refuse to let fear control their future, for those who wake up every morning and say, I will not wait, I will not settle, I will not stop until I have built the life I deserve. The world will test you, people will doubt you, life will throw obstacles in your path. But a smart woman, she does not break, she does not give up, she does not let the storms of life define her, she becomes the storm. She does not beg for respect, she commands it. She does not wait for opportunities, she creates them. And because of that, she wins. No more playing small, no more waiting for permission, no more settling for less than your full potential. The time is now, the power is yours. The question is, will you take it?